Today we're talking Joyride. Was it a joyful ride? No?
He said it! He said it!
What's up, Flick fans? Welcome back to the channel. So many dad jokes. Hopefully this movie is funnier. Finally, we have a comedy in theaters. It's been a little bit, and overall this year, I feel like we haven't had a ton of them. So is this movie funny, and does the cast work? Because I was really excited. Let's do it. When Audrey's business trip to Asia goes sideways, she enlists the aid of her childhood best friend, who also happens to be a hot mess, as well as her college friend Kat, who turned out to be a Chinese soap star, and Lolo's eccentric cousin Deadeye. This is a journey of bonding, friendship, and according to the summary, debauchery.
Debauchery!
Debauchery!
I'm a simple man with a simple mind, that much is obvious, and yes, I love to come out and criticize and sometimes be a snarky, oh, it's not as prestigious as... Did it tickle my fancy? And that's fine when the movie requires it, but with a comedy, I just want to laugh, man. I want to come out of that theater thinking of all the gut-busting moments that I just had, and, you know, if it brings out a few chuckles here and there, I'm going to be disappointed, but even then, you can provide good characters, a good story, kind of make up for the lack of laughter, but when a comedy doesn't make you laugh, most of the time, it's going to be a misfire. And the simple question is Joyride funny? I thought it was pretty funny. It may be a movie that sticks to the formula when it comes to its plot and its story, and you know exactly where it's all going, but you're not here for that. You're here for these four eccentric, albeit very different characters from each other as they are learning who each other is, even though for the most part they should have known that. But this is the kind of trip that is unforgettable both for the characters and the audience because of the hijinks that they get themselves in. And in that way, it kind of felt like one of those throwback early 2000s comedies, and I said the same thing for No Hard Feelings, but I think this movie works so much better because the characters are way more compelling, and each personality, when you're looking at the four of them, they're so different from each other, but they get along so beautifully, and each one has that individual quirk, or, you know, the recurring line of dialogue that comes back into play, or that personality type that's just either so entertaining or so dry, you can't help but to laugh. And that's where it all starts with a movie like this. If the characters don't work, who cares about the movie? Who cares about how interesting the plot is? And again, I think the plot here is very simple, and for the most part, as I was preparing for this review, I kind of forgot why they were all there in the first place. I mean, it really doesn't matter, but they do spend a little bit of time building that up, and to be honest, who cares? Because it doesn't matter in the long run. What matters is once they get on the road, what do they find themselves doing, and how raunchy does this movie get? The movie gets pretty raunchy. I was actually kind of surprised. I mean, both recent comedies with No Hard Feelings and Joyride, they are pushing boundaries, and I like that. I like to see it. I don't like when a comedy plays it safe, especially one that's trying to do these types of things. You have to commit to the bit, and this movie not only commits to the bit, it allows each of the main four actresses here to commit to the bit, and they are committed. This is a very sexual movie. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. I mean, you have to be prepared for an R-rated comedy. If you're in that space and you have that mindset going in, I think you'll be fine, but if you're not expecting it to get as raunchy as it does, you may find yourself going, I didn't know that was going to happen. But you know what? This type of movie, what this is trying to do, very sexual, like I said, but those are some of the funniest moments in the film, and there's one sequence in particular where all four of them are partaking in something different but similar, and it's all building to a climax. No.
That's what she said!
It was funny, it was uncomfortable, it had me laughing, it did its job, and those are the types of moments in this film that they go for it, man. Even though the story is familiar and the script is full of lines where I just, you know, they'll try to warm up to each other and hit those emotional beats. And I actually think there's one emotional beat towards the end that works really well. And Ashley Park's performance in that moment, I mean, look, they're all four really good, really entertaining, and each personality shines, and this movie nails that. But when it gets emotional towards the end, I thought it worked extremely well. Now, they try to do some things prior to that, and I'm like, let's get back to the nonsense. And the nonsense, for the most part, works. I'm going to go 70-30, maybe 65-35 with the humor. So it worked a much larger percent of the time than it didn't work, and that's how I like to gauge my comedies. So from an entertainment standpoint, I was entertained, and I was really enjoying the ride, the Joyride. That's the title of the movie.
There it is! There it is!
It has a lot of the makings of a classic comedy. It has the characters and some of the comedic bits where it goes completely overboard, which was really funny. Now, does it all come together to create a fully cohesive experience? Not necessarily. It's a little jumbled at points, and I felt as if the story was kind of going all over the place within like the second going into the third act of the movie, and so from a pacing standpoint, it did start to struggle just a little bit. But anytime I would get that laugh or even that chuckle, I'm like, okay, I'm still enjoying myself. I'm having some pacing problems and some story issues, but that's fine. Performances are so great. Ashley Park, amazing. Stephanie Hsu, fresh off of an Oscar nomination. Oh my God, I love her. Jerry Cola is fantastic as well. And Sabrina Wu, Deadeye, was one of the funniest, driest characters in a comedy I've seen in a bit. And even though it all doesn't land, this is one I think you should see in the theater to see with an audience and everybody laughing together. I think that's the best experience, especially when you're seeing a comedy. I've talked enough. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to drop a thumbs up, that would be very supportive of you, and come back for more reviews. As predictable as the main plot threads are, Joyride thrives due to its ability to bring out a few belly laughs and deliver a cast with spectacular chemistry. Each character gets a moment, and the end result is one worthy of a theatrical experience. Again, I do believe with a few story adjustments, we could have had a comedy classic on our hands, but it is one worthy of going out and seeing it this weekend, especially with that cast. Thanks for watching. I'm coming back to review Insidious, the Red Door? Something like that. I don't know.